Testing, testing. All right, well, good evening, folks. I am starting a little bit later than I planned, but yeah, tonight we're going to resume building the Going Merry. Last time we built much of the hull. We've already got two of the minifigures out, Sanji and Zoro. So now we're going to continue with the second part of the build. Now, to my knowledge, I haven't found any of the pieces that I seem to have missed last time. But I think afterwards I'll see if I can try and find some substitutes after that. It's going to be like before. We'll probably try and keep most of the pieces inside the box as we build. There's 10 bags altogether, plus a few things on the side, mostly the sails and the flags, and the rigging. Let's see, separator. All right, so one more thing. Let me just take care of one more thing. I believe everything's in order, so let's get started. Let's see. Let's see, sticker sheet should be in here somewhere. There we are. Alright, now next up is bag number 6. All four in the set. I believe that's all the pieces. Next up, we have our next minifigure coming up. Nope, got this in backwards. Got this in here. Alright, and first minifigure for tonight evening is the Liar of Maple Village himself, the self-proclaimed Captain Usopp. I'm kind of surprised they didn't give him the long nose, but then that kind of would have looked a little bit silly. But even so, I really liked how they handle Usopp so far in the live-action series. I mean, very funny, a lot of interesting stuff going on. I mean, I don't think they did many episodes with Mapleville with the syrup. Well, yeah, what was it? What was it? Syrup? Maple syrup. Oh, Syrup Village. That's what it's called. I keep getting things mixed up. But I really did enjoy those. I just seen those. Okay, so let's see. I've seen a piece like this before. It's like a smaller version of one I've seen. I tend to see in builds like this. I think we're starting on the stair railing. Oops. Actually, let me just move it back so that we can see the ship. Actually, I have a better idea. Yeah, I have a better idea. Let's do it like this. I was like, hey, fish out of water. Good to have you with us. We just started the build. Well, we started this part of the build anyway. I wanted to stream earlier, but a few things happened that I didn't account for. And then I waited because I didn't know if the storm was going to get worse or not. Thankfully, it didn't. Oh yeah, and speaking of which, we already got our next minifigure of the set. We got Usopp right here. They didn't give him a long nose, but they did capture his personality more or less alright. They even gave him a scared face. Which is pretty good because that happens often. The self-proclaimed Captain Usopp. So right now, it looks like we're starting on the stairs, going towards the whatchamacallits, towards the poop deck. Let's see. See, there should be one more of these. Good gracious, did I miss one? No, the problem is it's hard to tell with all the white pieces here. Ah, there it is. Let's see. And this is gonna go. Let me see, is it on right? Feels like it isn't. Alright. Starting on the stairs right here, and we even have the railing for the balcony above. We're starting to see some tools here. We got a hammer right here. I think I know who's going to be using that more often than not at this point. Actually, that kind of reminds me. I think for the Arlong Park set, there is one thing I kind of noticed I wish they did. That they didn't give Usopp a hammer for that one, considering his fight with Chu. They cut that one really short, I think, in the live-action series. Let's see, then we have... there should be a barrel here. Yeah, it looks like we got a wood stump, or basically, I think it could be a wooden anvil. Actually, come to think of it, I don't know if the Mary has a forge on the installed in the deck. Actually, forges and ships usually is a bad idea. Well, usually anyway, because the thing is, well, actually, I can only see it being usable like when the waters are calm. Can't really see it like if the waves are getting rough. So next up, we got a brush, and I have this put in wrong. See. Let's see, and there's a wrench. There should be a wrench here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Let's see, this is going to go on this, let's see, towards the front of the ship. Nope, wrong piece. I should have thought about having a platform for the ship so that way we could see it. Actually, come to think of it, I think we're missing a few things. Yes, I think we are. Well, just one thing. Let's see, 2, 3 for these little guys. See, this goes right here. Oh, I thought there was something inside. Let's see. Door frame's gonna go down here near. Yep. How's everyone doing tonight? Actually, this goes right here. Oops. Butterfingers again. So let's see. we got a few things framed down. Let's see. 3. This goes here. 2 of these white 1x5s. This goes down here. Need a brown piece that goes on. Let's see, then we need 1, 2, 3, 4. Might have dropped one. There we go. Let's see. This goes here. This goes here. One of each of these. Let's see, this one gets... Okay. Go start the railing. There we go. Let me turn, let me turn the brush. No, the broom so it doesn't get in the way. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh, there we go. No, that's not it. This goes here. This will hold down the door frame. Two little bits right here on the side. Let's see. Starting to get a little more detail towards the front. Let's see. Oops, one fell down. I don't want that. Let's see, then we got set up 4 of these. No, not here. Right here. I looked. Oh yeah, I looked around town today. Yes, we did see the other sets out, and there was quite a few on clearance too. So I was able to get 1 or 2 of them. Let's see. I was kind of hoping to see a certain one, but I don't think that one's come yet. Because I know I got 1 or 2 I have in mind. Let me see, though I don't know if I'm going to stream the build for those. There's being a 3-in-1 creator set. Well, actually 2 of them being 3-in-1 creator sets. First one being a haunted mansion, and the second one is whatchamacallit, the Horse Knight's castle. But let's see now. I mean, if I would have found today, I probably would have gotten that. But well, for now, I can wait. Let me see. Now we're gonna get 4 of these, and I'm gonna start getting some stickers in. This. I hate working with the stickers because it can be a real pain. Let's see, 2 10s. Let's see, the 10s go right here, I believe. Let me see. Oh wait, no, the other one goes. Let's see. I put one in the wrong spot. As these little stickers right here is going to show the ram-like curvature of the railing alongside the gun walls. One good thing about this part is that, let me see, that that these round pieces that they're going to be stuck on, they could just be stuck on a single peg, so that if it's wrong, you could just turn it as needed. As long as the sticker is centered, it'll be just fine. Although that one came off, unfortunately. Problem is, there's not much holding it in. But the good part is, I could just turn the piece on top with a sticker to even it out. All right, next up, bag 7. think we have another. I think we have another wanted poster in this one.
I'm gonna put the bag, make sure everything comes out. Gotta make sure everything comes out.
Okay, this is ridiculous. I don't know why they think we need a duplicate of Don Krieg. A bit ridiculous how they kind of randomize them this time, because it just feels a bit dumb. Well, to me it does. I've already got one for Krieg. Let's see. Oh well, time to keep going. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go over here. Move the bag out of the way. These parts are going to hold down the layer underneath. Let's see what we got. More railing on top. Actually, let me just put this on and then I'll be back in one quick second. I'm starting to feel a little hot, so it's, well, I haven't exactly figured out if I'm going to ever do a hydrate reading. Actually, I don't know how to do readings for that, or at least yet. So I'll be back in a quick second. Just going to grab a quick drink. Alright, we're back. Let's see. Let's see, one goes underneath, two go under. Oh, jeez. I hate how I keep dropping them into the hole like that. Yeah, there's supposed to be a gap. Alright. Oh, pardon me. Should be one more. Let's see. Let me see. And now we're starting to get the railing for the upper deck. No. One goes down here, one goes up here. There it is. See, this one goes up here. Quick look at what the little chunk's going to look like. I'm going to put right up. Yeah, right here. Oh, excuse me. At least it didn't fall into the ship's hold. And this one goes to the opposite end, here.
And now we're starting to use these little doodads right here. First we need
to with these many pegs.
There should be one more. There it is.
Two of these little white claw bits. I can't look at notifications right now. Let's see. And then they're going to go into one end of these little tubes here. Haven't seen these for a while. Gotta be careful. I don't want to break them. Don't want to break the tubing. And on the opposite end, two more pegs and two of these little thingamajigs right here. Stick them in the opposite end of the tubes. And now we're going to attach them to the prow. Oh. Gotta be careful. I hope the next steps are going to involve reinforcing these bits right here, because right now the tubing wants to bend away. But it's definitely looking nice. It's looking really nice right now. More like curvature around the bowsprit. Let's see. Next up we got four of these. Oh good. I was hoping for that. And we're going to put them in front so that way we'll put them on top of these little parts holding the tubing. I got these two big discs right here. Oh god, this time now I need to be careful with the stickers. I have to lay the ship on its side so that way let's see, this one gets 8. Gently. Good. That's looking pretty good. Now the opposite end. I need to make it so that the horn detail lines up with the tubing, and that's actually pretty easy. Oh. That is, this didn't come off. Come on, pretty easy to do. Right about there. This is how it's starting to look.
Oh yeah, I gotta open up the bag right here. This clear bag that we've had for a while. So this one has all the pieces for the rigging, the rubber bits, but it also has 2 white rubber bars. And this, I believe, is going to complete the railing. Take one end, stick it here. Take the other one. Oh yeah, I'm missing 2 pieces. That is if I'm right. There we are. Stick these 2 right here. And now we're going to take the other end of the tubes and put it in. Wait. Stretch out this in so that way they can hook in. And here we go, more railing done. I know we need this, Where was that one I started a little while ago? Oh wait. There it is. Right here for the ship's prow. This one goes behind it, and then this one goes in front. I'll just show you quickly what it's like. Yes, because next up we're building the figurehead. Actually, come to think of it, something feels missing. Oh, I think I know what's missing. Yes, I think I know what is missing. Oh, I did miss a step. Yes. I forgot once. Yes, there we go. There we go. Anyway, back to the figurehead. Let's see. One of these. No, that's not it. Oh, there it is. This goes right here. This little piece, this goes down here. And now we're going to stick it. Stick it right here like so. Starting to get dark outside. Actually, no, I think I had that backwards. Yeah, I did have it backwards. I had it upside down, that part upside down, so, alright. Oops. I really can't look at notifications right now. What's this? Oh, ooh, gave me a shout out to Adrian. Oh, thank you, Fish Out of Water. Thank you. All right, now we're at a good time.
We're working on Mary's figurehead right now. Let's see what we got. Put this little guy on top. Take these two pieces, put them together, and then turn Mary's head upside down. Gonna put this underneath it like so. And then this little thing is gonna go underneath. Yeah, there we go. More horns. I see piece number 10 has got to go on like. I'm going to move the manual here because I need to take a good look at it. It was a little hard to tell. What did you just... Oh, 10. Let me get the magnifying glass pretty quick. Be right back. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot. I have one right here, and I just realized I'm going to have to do some repair work on something else after stream. Or at least I hope this is right. Yeah. Alright, now for the next one. Last of the stickers. Actually, I don't think the repair work on the other thing is going to be that bad. Okay, now one thing that helps. It's got the little part where the horn comes out. It has to align with the stud underneath. Spread them apart a little. Oh, wait. Okay, I need to make some adjustments with the right. If I can manage, the problem is there's very little lip I can pull. And there we have, it looks a tiny bit freaky considering it's a bit minimalist, but stick this on. I said stick it on. And there we have Mary's figurehead. Let me just adjust the ears a little bit. No, not the ears, the horns. Next up, we have bag number 8. I see a familiar red vest and double molded legs. Where's the head? Yep, we have our next minifigure of the set coming up. And here we have the man of the hour, the captain of the West, well, the soon-to-be captain of the ship, Monkey D. Luffy himself. I really like how he did this. I really do. I mean, I really like the molding on the straw hat and the hair. I really like this. And of course, it just wouldn't be Luffy without a big happy face. So I think we're going to need 4 of these rubber bits of... Okay, good. I actually appreciate the fact that these aren't the kind you have to stick together end upon end. So I think we're going to start putting up some of the rigging. Wait a minute, something's off here. Oh, ooh. I think I made a mistake somewhere. Yes, I think I did. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, I did. So, let's take these pieces out. Let's... Oh, I thought I saw something different. That's just Ceribot. Ceribot in the chat. Well, I suppose one thing I could say, a good thing about Ceribot, it keeps whatchamacallit's certain... Well, because one thing I kind of like is usually, like, if I get people in the chat, it's not a lot, and then the only usual person I usually get is a bot trying to advertise for paid audience services or things like that. Sheesh. Kick someone while they're down, why don't you? Or at least that's how I see it, but... One more. Now we gotta attach this thing right here. Should be another one here somewhere. There it is. have to say, I like this little idea right here, using this little flat quarter piece base to fill in a little space whenever you use the hinge joint right here. This 2x2 hinge fills it out. I wonder what this is going to be becoming. Something seems missing. Oh, nope, there it is. It's right on my nose. A bit of a frame going on. What this is, I don't know just yet. Wait a minute. Let me see something. Yeah, that's right. I see. This goes right here. Three of these. I think we're starting to get the the upper poop deck going. Well, no, the roofing for the let me see. For the upper deck. This actually kind of reminds me a little of a similar technique they use for the older ships to shape the floor and the railing around the ship's poop deck. Because I know I saw it when they used it for Pirates of Barracuda Bay a few years ago. Oh man, that one took a while, but oh, that was a lovely one to build. Both the shipwreck and then putting everything together to restore the Barracuda to its former glory. Or should I say reincarnated glory, considering this thing was bigger than the original. I know because I have something that I think I came across. I think I came across a knockoff Barracuda during my college years. If I remember right, at the time was. It was at least 14 years ago, I think it was. 14 years ago, maybe a little bit more. Yes, I do remember. I was thinking about getting a pirate ship at the time. And my first thought around the time was, I think around the time the major series, even though Lego still had its pirate thing going on, it was kind of dwindling in the face of Pirates of the Caribbean. So my first thought when it usually came to those would be either the Black Pearl or the Queen Anne's Revenge. Unfortunately, I kind of dragged my feet on it, and it was a little too late. And as a result, by the time I started looking around, prices were shooting up for those. In the end, I think I ended up finding the Enlighten version. If I remember right, Enlighten was pretty much based in China, and they kind of made knockoff sets, if I remember right. And this case being one of the Black Seas Barracuda. Price looked about right, so I decided to look into it. And I did enjoy putting that one together. In fact, I have it on my bookshelf. And if I remember right, I added some of the crew that I found to that one.
So you have Barbossa and Jack Sparrow arguing over the helm.
Meanwhile, Captain Redbeard and the rest of the crew are thinking those two are crazy. And they'd be right.
Let's see, then we have a window.
Actually, oh, there it is.
So tiny, so easy to miss. Little portal door. This is pretty small. Usually this would be like, you'd probably see something like this more in like in a village building than you would something like a ship. But let's see. So we need two of these, two of these. Put this towards the front. Yeah, this is what I need. Should be a black one too. Alright. And then this, I haven't seen one of these for a while, but I think I have an idea what this thing's gonna be used for. And now I have to make one opposite. See, and this is going to hold down some bits of it. Here's how it's looking so far. Let's see. Two of these brownish orange little 1x1 studs. Something seems off about this. Oh no, I know what it is. I put in the wrong spot, that's what I did. Alright, these little two are going to go holding these two bits together. Yeah, there we go. Okay, two of these gold studs. Oh, this one came off. Let's see, the gold studs, I know where these go. These are going to go right in the middle. Oop. there's supposed to be 4 clear spots. I think this is going to be for, I guess, let me see. I wouldn't exactly call it the wheelhouse, considering, if I remember right, the Mary doesn't have a standard ship's helm. It has more, I think, if I remember right, the mechanism for the helm was basically like a large beam that was built, that was set into the interior of the rear cabin. Oh, that's what this is. Yeah, I guess you could say it's the ship's wheelhouse. Yeah, this little space right here. That's a very small door. How was anyone going to get into that? I do remember, Sanji and Usopp struggling in some bits to steer the ship. Well, if I remember, particularly around Reverse Mountain. But of course, mind you, I mean, as far as the live action series goes, we're not going to be seeing season 2 at least until 2026, which is next year. And if I remember right, the way the pacing is going, that one's going to start with Logtown. So that being said, the manga and the anime, they've done that a long time ago. Although I kind of have to admit the way they handled the anime version was a bit unusual, because they actually started off, well, if I remember right, they did whatchamacallit's Logtown, and then they did a filler arc with Dragons and Lost Island. If I remember, usually when filler arcs like that are involved, that means it gives the studio time to try and catch up with the manga. Okay, so unfortunately, we're not going to have enough space to see it, so this is all we're pretty much going to see of the interior of the wheelhouse. Not even enough to put a minifigure in. If I remember right, the antagonist for that arc was I think it was I think it was a Navy captain named Nelson. If I remember, he was a real fat fellow. If I remember, he had captured a girl named Apis and an elderly dragon. If I remember right, they found her. Luffy and the crew found her drifting by accident. Told them the story, and then they were able to rescue the dragon. And at first, they brought her to Apis's village. If I remember right, her grandfather knows all the old lore, and he makes some pretty good pork buns. But during the process, he will tell you the old legends, and oh God, does he go on and on. Excuse me a second. I think someone's at the door. we're back. Sorry about that. Had a neighbor come by to drop off something. Alright, looks like now we're starting to install part of the rigging. So I'm going to take these little things, put them here. I definitely appreciate that they used the rigging, the rubber rigging that has little holes right here, so that way the minifigures can hold on to them like they're climbing it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am a fan of the old plastic riggings that they used for the older pirate ships. Well, heck, they even still used them for Barracuda Bay a few years ago. Let's see. And this is actually interesting right here. These are usually handles you usually see for motorcycles. And right here, they're using them to hold the upper portions of the rigging together. Anyway, getting back to the little spiel I was going on about the filler, if I remember right, for this one, if I remember right, Nelson had captured Apis and the dragon that, I think the dragon's name was Grandpa Ryu, I believe that's what she called him. Because if I remember right, there was something of an old story among the Navy that dragons were key to something called the Elixir of Immortality. And Nelson had hoped that either through Ryu, that through Ryu they could either get the elixir from him directly or find more dragons to produce the elixir. And he had a small fleet under his command, so if I remember right, it kind of gave a lot of trouble for Luffy and company to to keep Apis and Ryu from being captured by them. And to make matters worse, Nelson had an underling that had devil fruit powers. Let me see. I think it's called. I think the English version would be sickle fruit. So basically, it would give him. Well, if you're familiar with Japanese mythology, it brings to mind the Kamatachi, or basically like the Kamatachi weasels. Now, at the end of it, though, the underling ended up giving him trouble up to the point where he was still coming after them by the time they were going up Reverse Mountain. I have to say that, well, the final dispatch they did to get rid of him was actually pretty short, sweet, and well deserved, considering how much of a jerk this guy was. I mean, it's pretty unusual that you see filler villains being that stubborn. Let's see. That being said, don't know when they'll get to that point where they start season 2, but I'm kind of hoping that they do something, at least do a little bit with the opposite end of Reverse Mountain. In this case, Crocus and Laboon. Oh, that's gonna be interesting. But again, we have to wait until next year. Let's see. have to build one more just like it. Alright. And then these are going to go. Oh, I did miss something. I missed 2 pieces. Yes, I thought so. Well, no, 4 pieces actually. This one should go. Oh yeah, that's right. This one went here. We got this one right here. And this one should go on the opposite end, right about here. So starting to get the railing for the upper deck. Two more bags to go. Bag 9. Although I think that being said, there's actually one bit of filler that I did like. I think it happened just before the aforementioned Lost Island arc. What happened was, if I remember right, after leaving from Logtown, the Mary ends up sailing through a fog, and no one realized that at the time. They were actually sailing into a small naval fleet. A few ships were actually close together. If I remember right, what happened was, well, the fog is pretty thick, so at first no one really knew what was going on at first. So then, Sanji goes to check it out, although Luffy, being Luffy, gets restless, and then he ends up causing some incidental trouble. But what happens is, Sanji ends up meeting a Navy cook named, Toriko, I think it was Toriko, I can't remember. But if I remember right, he was something of a tenderfoot. Very young, he started working in the kitchen not too long ago, and unfortunately he was a bit of trouble because that day the captains of the Navy ships they would once a week they would get together on one of the ships and eat curry. And unfortunately this little guy had accidentally spilled much of the current pot that was made, so he had to learn. He had to pretty much go through making it almost not from scratch, but working through what he learned in the kitchen. And Sanji, him being the sous chef of the Baratier, he definitely knew a few things, but he didn't exactly tell outright what he needed to do. he just showed him like little subtle hints now, commenting that the fire for the stove, that he had the stove set too high. And then we get this nice little bit of them going through the cooking process of the preparations of what goes into making curry. I'll tell you one thing. I mean, it's enough to make you hungry. I think if you get a chance, there is a YouTube channel called Attack on Cuisine that actually covers a little bit of the what you call it, Navy style curry. It's definitely worth a look. And there seems to be quite a few wanted posters on this one. I think so, anyway. Oh my god, how many Don Creek posters do they think we need? This is stupid. 3 posters. That's really, oh my god, that's ridiculous. I think I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to file a little bit of something with the folks at Lego about this. Oh, come on, guys. 3 Krieg posters? The only one that I have is Mihawk, and oh my god, this is just ridiculous. Did they just pick it at random? And it's also kind of funny since in the live action series, Krieg's scenes were extremely brief. It was just mostly just to show just how dangerous Mihawk was. Well, not dangerous, but how skilled he was. And what exactly Garp bringing him into this means for Luffy and company. Because I know one poster that at least would have fit better for this. And then here we have crates of fruit and food. We have bread, carrots, and I think that's a melon in there. Apples, bananas, berries, bananas. Very important. Very important, because if I remember, I think just before I think just at the start of Baratie, at least as far as the anime and manga were concerned, the group would end up running into 2 of Zoro's bounty hunting buddies, Johnny and Yosako. I think their names were. If I remember, they found him in a real bad way. But what happened was, this is going to go into the deck. What happened was they were shriveled, almost mummy-like, and no one knew what to do, but Nami did. In this case, what happened was they had severe vitamin C deficiencies, or to put it in one simple word, scurvy. But fortunately, if I remember right, what happened was, if I remember right, they had gotten supplies from Syrup Villages, but thanks for dealing with the Black Cat pirates. So they definitely had limes on hand. And if I remember, it was at least before the group ended up having to deal briefly with a conceited Navy captain named Fullbody, I think his name was. If I remember right, he had plated metal on one end, kind of earning that moniker. But he'd also get his butt handed to him when whatchamacallits when Sanji ends up messing up a date that the captain had. Let's see, where does that go? What's up? Oh. That's weird. I don't remember there being a place to put the. Wait a minute. Let me take a look back. Let me take a look back at some of the other pieces. Because I don't think there's a place. Oh, there is. Wait a minute. I think there. Ooh. I think I did make a mistake somewhere. Oh, no. I'm looking at the wrong end of the ship. There we go. And that being said, I think I put this in wrong. Or at least put in... Yeah, there we go. Because if I remember right, the captain wanted to impress his date by guessing the wine that they had ordered. But if I remember right, Sanji pretty much messed it up by... Well, no, pretty much sabotaged that. Probably because she thought that this guy was... that this girl was too good for this pompous drip from the Navy. Well, I wouldn't say so much of a drip because Full Body wasn't exactly a foppish kind of guy, but he was just more obnoxious. And then, if I remember right, the captain, utterly embarrassed by what happened, the guy tried to get Sanji fired by finding a fly, putting it in the soup. And then, if I remember right, that did not sit well with Sanji. Not at all. And he proceeded to beat the living snot out of the guy. Oh, it sits on top. This should sit on top. Yeah. I don't know if it's somewhat tilted. I think it might be. No, it shouldn't. Let me see. If this just slide it in. Let me see. Oh, wait, maybe that fits in down. No, that can't. Oh, wait, there we go. There we go. Silly me. Alright. So we started the main mast. Yeah. What we had going is the main mast of the ship, and we got, whatchamacallits? One of these little guys over here, and one of these over here. Put this on the side of the ship. Take this little claw-like thing, put it in the middle hole, right here in the railing, like so. Turn it around, put more. Oh yes, and actually one thing I did forget, just before the incident with Sanji and that captain, he did try to attack the Going Merry. If I remember right, Luffy did repel the cannonball, pretty much in the similar fashion what he did when Garp tried that. Unfortunately, it didn't go nearly so well, because all it did was redirect the ballistics towards the Baratier, and the cannonball, it wasn't a direct hit, but it did something of a nasty number on Zeff. Actually, the shot actually took, I think it was
The first shot, yeah, the first shot nearly hit Zep. The second shot actually took Luffy to follow up that first one. Although I have to admit, I do love how they handled the live action one because it was just simply funny. It was just ridiculous and funny what happened. Just to see Zep's reaction to pretty much having to deal with this moron who comes in thinking he could just eat on credit. Actually, if I remember, they couldn't even get in until Nami ended up paying the head waiter for a seat at the table. And then honestly, and then I just loved seeing Seth's reaction was just hilarious when I was like, "Who the hell is Monkey D. Luffy?" He's like, "What?" Oh, you know there's gonna be trouble. And he tells him, "What is this?" "Oh, it's my treasure tab." He said, "Well, yeah, I mean, want to become a famous pirate and get some treasure? I'm gonna pay you off." And he's like, "Back in the kitchen, boy. You can work off your tab." Well, I was pretty much paraphrasing it more or less. What was that piece? I know. Oh, there it is. See, then we get the brown one, little brown hook right here, and then red axle, I think this is going to be the mizzen mast. This is going to connect down here. And then this is going to go around the wheelhouse, around the mizzen mast. Yeah, foremast, mainmast, well, or should I say aftmast? I mean, there's only two masts. Well, usually larger ships would have three of them. Foremast, mainmast, and aftermast, I think. I could be wrong. Pretty sure I'm horribly wrong. Oh, nope, there's one more. Yeah. Put this back. Get another one. Two of these black hooks. Well, in one sense, they could be used almost for weird claw-like things or big, oversized medieval forks. There's a bit of versatility with them. Let's see. Take this thing, put it underneath. Put one of these brown cones over it. And now, we're going to start using one of the flags. We're going to start using one of the Jolly Rogers. Quick look and see how it is. I have to admit, it's pretty nice. And I actually like how the detail they add, like it's billowing in the wind. You see this little line right here going through the straw hat? It's almost like it's, yeah, like I said, it's just billowing in the wind, flapping. Now I'm going to stick this. And now we're going to connect the rigging to the gray pieces. And we have these black candle pieces right here. Last time I saw them was when I was building Bardo Door last year. That was part of what ended up holding up the great eye. There should be one. Let's see. There's three. There should be one. Oh, there you are. 1, 3, 4, and then we have a single stud piece with a round end. Sometimes it's used as a microphone. I see that gets put down here. Now we use one of these black axles, brown conical cylinder. Stick another one of these round pieces at one end. And this time we're going to take this little black T-square piece, stick that in one end. Get another one. This, tilt it down, and this is going to be the yard arm that's holding the axe sail. Now in this case, I don't remember what it's called, but I know this sail serves an important function in this case. This one helps to catch the wind. In this case, well, it's a bit of an indicator, but I think we'll worry about that once we go further up. Let's see, platform right here. Treasure chest. What are we going to fill it with? We have a bone, a sausage, and a chicken leg. Yeah, you heard that right. A bone, chicken leg, and a sausage. Something tells me this was probably Luffy's lunchbox or something like that. Let me see, then we have... Or it could be like what they use for a trash can, more or less. So we got a bottle, and I think we have a cup. Ooh, actually it's a goblet. This is a pretty fancy cup right here. And likely they had it filled with something.
I don't know if it's tea or something. Well, I guess you could say it's like tea or grog or something like it. Let's see, and then that's going to go towards the front. Yes, it's going to go right here. Held up by these two little pegs underneath. Oh, let me show you. Either lift up the chest, or, well, actually, yeah, pretty much lifting it by the chest or by that little brown piece. Yeah, lift up one end. There's only two pegs holding it up. Alright, I think we're gonna make the yard arms to hold the mainsail. That's what it's looking like to me. Where's that piece? It's here somewhere. Problem is, if all these pieces are brown, it's hard. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's a dark brown one. Makes it hard for them to stand out. Oops. Butterfingers again. Got one more left, I think, on this. At least this portion. And then we have a short grayish axle piece. Put that in. Put this little cross piece in the middle. Do more of the dark gray hooks, hook-like things, or fork-like pieces. And then we repeat the same process we did for the. We start building up more of the base of the yard arms. Here's the frame of it so far. Now we're going to stick it into the main. Well, let's see. Let me put the anchor back. The anchor came off on the, let me see, port side. Stick it here. This is where the rest of the rigging comes in. And then we have two simple bars right here that we stick through. Or at least I would if the rubber didn't sway like crazy. Because it's bouncing all over the place. Now we need two of these brown fork things. Two of these hinge pieces right here. And then we're going to connect them to the bars. Well, actually, I need 4 of them now that I think about it. Stretch. We're going to attach them to whatchamacallit. Yeah, we're going to attach them to the side right here. That's what these are for, I believe. One's going to go here. Oh. Carefully. I don't like. Oh wait, I think I put it this end in backwards. Yes, that's actually why it's going nuts. I wish the anchor didn't come off so easily at this rate. I'm going to think about putting some bars in there so that way it'll hold. And I just realized I put this in backwards. There we go. Now I gotta put in this. Set the ship down on its side so that'll make it a little bit easier. At least I hope it will. Yeah. Over the bars. Stretch these out so that way these things aren't so wonky. And there we have the rigging for the mainmast up. For better or worse. Not exactly 100% straight though. I think that's part of the problem. And next up looks like the crow's nest. Yep, crow's nest it is. Because here we have the base, the little wash tub, but it can also be used for it. Stick this on top. Well, let me see. Yeah. Come on, you. Okay, stick another one through. Come on. Ow. Follow that with another comb. Two more bar hearts for yard arms. Same setup as the other ones. A repetition here, but I suppose I can't complain too much. I mean, the last time I saw this much rapid repetition, well, no, actually this one isn't nearly as bad, but I think the largest case of piece placement and repetition I saw, it was when I built the Lion Knight's castle years ago. Oh, Lord, that was a lot. And that was for the, whatchamacallit, the battlements and the machiculations. Okay, here's how it's looking like right now. And now we're going to put the other sail. So you take this little black staff, put it like this, put it like this. And now we're going to put it on top. Make sure this is facing away. Here's how it's looking with it. And now we're going to stick it up front. Actually, yeah, both of that's got to be up front. Let me just make one quick adjustment to... Actually, yeah, that's about right. And now the last bag. On this one. And we also have our last minifigure of the set. I just put together. And for our last minifigure of the set, we have Nami, the Navigator / Cat Burglar. I really have to admit, I like the molding they did, the double, the color, the paint jobs they did for these pieces right here. Although, not exactly dual molded like they did with Luffy. But still very nice though. And then another face she has is this. Let me just turn it upside down. She has this little angry face right here. And I kind of wouldn't be surprised if she gets angry considering how much she has to put up with Luffy's shenanigans. Especially as her, like, Zoro Mike Crew is like, no! She's all like... And then sometimes she has to be the one to put everyone back on track. And then if you actually either take her money or give her money away, then you better start praying to whatever god's in heaven. But of course, she has reasons for it, because I think if what Fish said something like, well, it's not too dissimilar to Faye Valentine's reason for being obsessed with money in Cowboy Bebop, as Fish discussed it a bit yesterday. Let's see, take this piece right here, like this, put it underneath, stick in like so. No, it goes underneath. And then this is going to go on top, I believe. Yeah, that goes on top. No, underneath. Gold piece goes right here. This one goes right here. Gold piece goes right here. And we have what's looking like a water bucket. Yeah, it actually looks like it could be a water bucket. That is if I can get the handle on, because one thing I hate about these little buckets is the handles, they never like to stay on. The little knobs they use to hold them, ugh. It could be a pain trying to get them to stick. Okay, there we go. There we go, that little bucket. But actually, we did miss something. 2 pieces. Dark blue one here. Throw one next to this little space. Let me see. Then we have a jig right here, and a little clear piece. And I believe there's a spoon here. Yes, there is a spoon. Let me see. Take 2 of these, stick them together. One on top. Put these next to each other. 2x1 plate goes on top like so. And this goes on. Let's see. Goes like so. Actually, the signs kind of reminds me of something a friend said. Let's see, another streamer I know said, because I remember sometimes I usually tend to have a problem. Well, actually, I don't know how I could put it. Because usually, if it feels lonely, they did tell me, engage with your audience. But you know what? It's kind of hard to engage with the audience when you don't really have an audience. And then another problem I see is that, you try to do things to stand out, doesn't really stick. And then it's sometimes it can feel like a tree falling in the woods. Like you do something, no one knows it, but then if someone else does the same thing you're doing 5 minutes later, they get noticed. It's kind of a case where it feels like the hard work you do goes pretty much unrewarded. It can get a little annoying sometimes. Mostly because, you feel like, what are you doing wrong? Or you have like a bit of envy or jealousy, whether it's on purpose or on accident, but it's a bit of an oddity, I suppose. I mean, because I feel like I try to set up streams at certain times. I mean, I'm pretty limited because I work most of the week, and even then, 10-hour shifts. I mean, it doesn't exactly leave a lot of time. Let me see. Put these two together here. Put these close together. Because yes, you feel like. Let's see. Oh yeah, well, I stick right here. Because sometimes it can feel like you try and accommodate for these circumstances, so that way maybe you can get more people interested. But then I think one thing you did tell me was, like, if you find something you like and enjoy it, then maybe someone will eventually latch onto that. But the problem is, I mean, I do get the idea. It's the old Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come into idea. But the problem is, if you build it, no one notices, but then someone else builds the same thing 5 minutes later. Everyone else notices them. Meanwhile, you're left in the shadows, in the darkness, and you think, well, I don't know what you're supposed to think about that. Sad part is, that feels like the reality. But I won't deny I do enjoy doing these streams, and doing Lego builds like that is something fairly new that I started years ago. But then also, I try and save most of them when I can. Sometimes I like going through old stuff, seeing some of the memories, the laughs. And although Twitch is being a bit of a butt with storage, that being said, hey, whoever made the decision to limit storage to 100 gigabytes, you're a real jerk. You know what? You could have found a better way to handle the situation, and yet you pass on the burden onto users by making them cut content. That's the only thing I can say. That whoever you are, you're a jerk. That being said, that's just more of a mini rant right here. I don't really. Is the only thing I can say that applies to the decision makers, not to the viewers. And I know I pretty much had to do. There are some bits I do find annoying, like having to deal with unnecessary third-party content bits. I mean, there's some bits I do understand where, like, some of the people who worked on certain games, they don't like certain things being used, whether it be music or other things. Well, that's already part of the game itself, and yet somehow they still find reasons to throw hissy. Well, there are cases where some composers specifically ask not to have their music played on stream, whether it be accident or not. Well, either incidental or on purpose. I mean, because I know I dealt with a case with this during my Megaton Musashi Wired streams. I can understand that somewhat, but still it was a bit of a butt because cutting out the audio also meant cutting out some of the dialogue that I did for that. Bit of a nuisance. But then there's some bits where even though I didn't put the content on the game, I mean, they still find reason to cut it off. One of the last things I found for it, I didn't mind it, was when I did Lego DC Super Villains a few years ago. That one I didn't mind too much, but when I did Samurai Jack Battle Through Time, that was one I did mind, because you know what? That was already in the game. I mean, the one thing I hate about it is that, whoever does the third-party reporting, I mean, oh sure, they get away scot-free. Boy, I can't say anything about it because the content was already in there. It's stupid. Although I know some developers have a bit more lenient as long as you don't go out of your way to bother things. Because I know, like, wasn't it the case? Square Enix. Usually, if you stream a game from Square Enix, they will usually tell what in outlines what they'll be fine with when you stream their games. And usually, it comes to a case of, as long as you don't leave it running, they'll think you're doing that just so that you can listen to the music. But then there's some bits where they pretty much specifically outline what's fine, what's not. Well, so far I can't say I've had. Well, actually, the only problem I would say I've had was when I streamed was it Final Fantasy VII Remake last year? I think it was last year. I mean, actually 1.5, because when I streamed the original PS1 version years ago, I mean, I was kind of a bit, what? In one sense, I can understand somewhat why, but in another, I'm thinking, why would you do that with the original game? I mean, this game is over, what you would call it, this game's over 20 years old. You think anyone's going to throw a fit about that? But then again, I suppose at the time they did that, they were just about ready with remake. So, in one sense, looking back, I can kind of understand, but I still don't like it. Oh, I think I know what happened. Yeah, I know what's wrong. Yes. I forgot something. Yes, I forgot 2 pieces. I don't think you guys pretty much are really interested in me rumbling and ranting about this. Just trying to make a little bit of conversation. Like I said, trying to engage somewhat. But like I said, it's kind of hard to engage with an audience when you don't have an audience. I don't know. Maybe I think I'm trying too hard. I just hate the idea of, despite trying, it feels a lot like, what was the old saying? What was the old word? Like, if a tree falls in the woods and no one is around, does it make a sound? Because then one thing you would think is, yes, of course it doesn't make a sound. Of course a tree makes a sound when it falls in the woods. But then the problem is, how can sound exist if no one is there to hear it? And then the other part, I suppose, about that is I've been streaming for like about maybe 7, 8 years at least now, and then not much really comes of it. I mean, granted, I'm not exactly using this as a full-time job. I mean, I just enjoy doing it for fun. But then sometimes I do like talking with people, the people that come into the chat. But then not many of them come. And then when some people I put notifications, I say, oh yeah, I'll watch. But then guess what? When it comes time to actually stream, guess what? There are no shows. And they're like, where were you? And then they're like, oh. And then they realize it can get a tiny bit awkward. I'm like, it makes me sometimes wonder why bother. It really does sometimes. Because like I said, tree falling in the woods. Anyway. Let's see, I think this is going to be put on top of the wheelhouse. And then, let me see this right here. I think we got, oh yeah. I think this is one bit of detail I'm actually going to like right here with this. Oh, I think I know what's in the goblet, what's in that cup now. I should have realized it much sooner. Well, let me build it and then I'll go on what I mean with it. But I gotta build 2 of them first before I can do it. Let's see. It looks like we got trees. Actually, I just realized. Let's see. Yeah, I gotta build more. I gotta build more on top of it. Yeah. Let me just get more of it going. Because it's 3 of these for. There should be one more. I kind of like this bit right here when you have to put a stud on top of a flat 4x1, because the problem is there isn't that much room to make it stick, and right now I have big fingers, so actually. There we go, that's one. Now, there should be another one. There it is. Good. I gotta get the other one in there. Yeah, the problem is it doesn't like to stick. There's such a narrow space to stick that one by one in there. There we go. Where did these come? Oh wait, I think I did miss something. Yes, let me see. Oh, I know where I missed them. It was the railing. I missed them because I went into the rants. Thankfully, it doesn't take too much to fix. Take one of these pieces, stick that in. Actually, if I remember, I gotta stick this one underneath because, yeah, stick this here, stick this here. And then, let me see. I see what those bits, these light brownish bits are for. Tangerine trees. That's what we're looking at right here. And this is gonna go right into the ship's poop. If I can line it up right. There we go. And now for the last piece. Well, last pieces, I should say. I take the sails out. Start with the rear. Now for this, we're going to take this right here. Take this one over here. Take them at like the ends of the sails, put them in the the main sail. I'm going to take the main sail off. Stick this right here. Stick them into the pegs so that way the sails can be held up on the yard arms. Gotta be careful here. And then we gotta take one of these little black little studs, stick it in here for the ship's cannon. Definitely some extra pieces here, but and then over here, this little thing right here, this little stud right here is this little column right here is the firing mechanism. Well, it didn't go far because I had my hand from it because I didn't want to lose the shots. Problem is, shots like this are very easy. These little black 1x1 pucks. They're very easy to lose. In fact, I think I'll try and put them with the whatchamacallits, the oh god, oh, you know what, that actually happened. That actually happened in Series 2 when they realized they had to fight Garp on the sea. And unfortunately, Nami realized just how much they may be out of their depth, considering Usopp didn't know how to fire the cannons. But I know what it was, and then it drops the cannons down the stairs. Well, there's extra. And now that that's done, let's get everyone onto the ship. I know we can stick with some of these. Let me see, for Zoro, I think I could probably put some of the swords. Actually, no, I can't put them away. Not like this, anyway. Actually, I might be able to. But that kind of would be a bit crooked. I kind of wish there was another barrel to put them, or something like that. No, that's with a wrench. Oh, actually, no, I think I know where I can put them for now, if only for the sake of putting them aside, because I'm not exactly dealing with a hostile company at the moment. Even though, for the most part, Zoro would keep his swords on hand at all times. I kind of wish they made a little something for... kind of wish they made a little holster setup for him. But then again, doing a 3-sword one would be very difficult now that I think about it. Let me see, where's that mug? Alright, so me put the anchor back on again. Always keeps coming off. Kind of thinking there's only one anchor on this ship. I suppose that's actually for the best under the circumstances. Anyway, here we have it. Yeah, here we have it complete in all its glory. The Going Merry. This is actually a little bit smaller than I thought it would be, but you know what? That's fine considering what place I have in mind to store it with. So here we have the figurehead. We have Luffy sitting on top of it. That's his favorite spot. Then right here we got Zoro right behind, checking things out. We have a little hatch right over here for the gunnery area. Then let's see, mainmast, and then on the crow's nest we have, well, one thing I kind of don't like about when they use this for the mast is that there isn't a lot of room for the minifigures to stand properly. Anyway, right here we on the main mast we have Usopp. We have on lookout duty. Let me see, and then let me see the back of the ship. We have Nami at the wheelhouse, minding the aft sail. If I remember, this sail could be turned based upon what direction they need to to face the wind. Since this sail, I think, is like the main indicator for where the wind's blowing. I think that's why some of the sails were striped back during the earlier days of exploration. So that way the crew could tell, like, if the wind was blowing in a certain direction, then they could just turn the sail and then use it to propel the ship further. And then over here, down the steps, we have Sanji singing Nami's many praises. Bit of a hopeless romantic. And as far as extra pieces go, there is a bit, yes. I'm going to have to make a mental note, get a little bag for them, but it's a little late right now. Extra, yeah, there is quite a few extra pieces. And unfortunately, I'm not finding the one that I meant to, hoping to find yesterday. But, there we have it. We have it complete. The Going Merry. Well, let me just turn this in. Yeah, there we go. And now it's complete. The Going Merry is finished. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I know I certainly did. So, thinking about tomorrow, I actually wasn't planning to do anything tomorrow, but since we got the Merry finished at this point, I think I can resume with Monster Hunter Stories at the usual time. That's what I'm thinking. So that being said, I hope you guys like this build, and I hope to see you all next time. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. So, goodbye for now.